Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the CreditRepairShop.com. I got some good news here about a recent debt collection that was going to go to court, but we were able to get this stopped. The amount of the collection was $36,620.86. I'm going to go into details about what happened with that specific situation with dealing with a debt collector. This will enlighten you of the possibilities, if you know your rights and know what to say and how to say it, that you can stop a lot of debt collectors from coming after you. And this was with a debt collection firm collecting for the original creditor. $36,620.86. But, I want to talk about something first before I get into this, because if you had, let's just imagine you got a letter in the mail from a debt collection company and it says that you owe $36,000. How would you feel? Would you have the mindset, or let's just talk about how you would be able to sleep at night? Would you be worried? And I would say to you, because that you would probably be worried, because I know that I would be worried. Stuff like this would stay on your mind. It would make it hard for you to go to sleep. It would make it hard for you to maneuver through your life. And with this individual here, those were the words that he said to me. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because when I look and I evaluate success, like clients who really, some people would consider this a miracle. And I'm looking at the date that we responded to the law firm. It was June 12th, 2024. And right now, I got the email from the gentleman saying that everything was closed out, it was resolved, not going to have to pay the money. He emailed that on July 3rd. So we're saying within a few weeks, everything was resolved. And it came down to, they violated certain debt collection practices during the process, and then there were some other circumstances that also went into it with this individual on a personal level. But regardless of that, what I want to specifically talk about is the things that they violated, because the violations is actually what gets their antenna up and say, we have a problem here. We did this. The law firm that was hired to go and collect this $36,620.86 made violations that they don't expect people to know about, because they just send out the letter and think that people are just going to run and hide, which is what most people do. But before I get into talking about that, I want to talk about something that's going to get you to be able to move forward in your life. And this was something that when I was writing down my notes for this specific situation that happened with this gentleman owing a debt for $35,620.86 that a debt collection law firm was coming after him for, that was not a purchase, that it was from the original creditor. Something came to my mind, and I've talked about this before, but we need to get more focused on this mindset. When I talked about credit, when I talked about debt, I've always talked about it from, where you're at with bad credit. And that is important with the debt that you're facing. That is important because you can't move forward without knowing where you're at. But then something else came to mind, that the way that I even attack things, that challenges that come in my life, is that I look at what outcome I want. I look at the outcome that I want, because this is the reason why you want to look at the outcome that you want. And I want you to think about something that you've accomplished in your life. It could be a job. It could be, when you first got good credit. It could be a loan that you got. It could be whatever it is. Whatever it is, it could be even, getting with your spouse. I want you to think about that, the outcome that happened, like the good thing that happened. And I want you to look back. And I want you to look back at where it was before and where it is now for that good thing that happened in your life. This is something that is skipped with a lot of stuff. It's skipped with a lot of stuff. Because if you look at that, what happened, for whatever that is that you're thinking about, and you look back, I bet my bottom dollar that you would say that when you look back, the reason why you accomplished that is because you said, I'm going to do everything to get there. But you did it in a strange way. So if we're thinking about debt, we're thinking about credit, and we look at it from the point of view of, I already got good credit, I already got good debt. What are the things that's going to be changed about your life when you have good credit and your debt is reduced? Is that you're going to stand up straight. You're going to have more confidence. You're going to speak with more confidence. If someone asks you about credit and debt, you're going to come back and you're going to have confidence in what you tell them to do. So the big part of it, what I want you to start to understand is that you got to change the feeling about where you're at in your life right now. Because if you don't change your feeling, you don't change your posture, if you don't change everything about yourself, the way you feel about yourself, the way you interact with people throughout the day, the way that you carry yourself, it's going to be very tough. Not to say that you can't move through it, but it's going to be very tough. And the thing about it, I call this the ball and chain. You have a rocket. Say that you are trying to repair your credit and you're trying to do everything to repair your credit. You're pushing, but it seems like you're not getting anywhere. And the reason why you're not getting anywhere is because you have not let go of those feelings. You might think you've let them go, but you don't let them go. As soon as you start to move forward, you start to say, oh, things like this don't work. It hadn't worked the last time. All of this stuff. When you say things like it didn't work the last time, you're picking up the luggage of the past experience and you're bringing it into the new experience and you're putting a new ball and chain on what you're trying to do. You need to start thinking and feeling, get your posture up, get your hands up in the air, wake up 2 times. I talk about this with my business consulting clients, as I say, you got to wake up 2 times. 2 times. So what I mean by waking up 2 times, that means that when you first wake up in the morning, you are like on automatic. Everything that you do is just automatic. And then the second, what I say is the second time you wake up is when you start to take control of your thoughts and actions throughout the day. You stop being on automatic. You stop letting what happened to you yesterday affect you from moving forward today. You stop letting people who say things to you make you react certain ways. You stop telling yourself things with that voice on the inside, that voice that's speaking to you. You stop letting that voice run your life. You start to tell that voice how you want your life to be. So that new automatic, that new automatic record, that subconscious record that can put you either in a negative state or a positive state, you have that playing instead of that negative record. And the only way to make those changes is to, what I consider is to wake up twice. Because I do this for myself on a daily basis. If you think about it, think of all of the things that can negatively affect you moving throughout the day. All of the stuff that you heard yesterday, the news, the stuff in publications or online, with your children, all of that type of stuff. But if you think about it, if you look back, that stuff is not as bad as it seems when you look back, when you make it through it. So why not go ahead and practice having that posture, practice having that feeling? Just pretend. Just pretend. Because think about this. When you get to where you want to be with your credit and debt, you're going to be a different person. You're going to be a different person. So let's talk about what happened with this specific situation. This individual came to us very frustrated, couldn't sleep, owed a debt $36,620.86. Individual found us from watching a YouTube video. Debt collection company, from my research, what I found by doing the research, and this is something that you need to do whenever you receive a letter from a debt collector, especially if you have an attorney that supposedly has reviewed the information. And if you watch my other past videos, I tell you that the attorneys do not actually review the entire. If you receive a debt collection letter from LVMV Funding, Resurgence, Sherman, Jefferson, mainly really any debt collection company where you receive a debt collection letter and they're giving you the opportunity to dispute the debt, an attorney has not reviewed those documents. An attorney has not reviewed those documents. You can bet your bottom line on that. Now, when a debt collection attorney who is hired by the original creditor, what they're going to do is they're going to send you a letter from their office, and they're supposed to have reviewed everything about the case. Part of what they're supposed to have reviewed is that they're supposed to have reviewed to make sure that the original creditor followed the guidelines for whatever they're trying to put into their lap to go out there and collect. Because most people do not respond to those debt collection letters, or they don't know how to respond to those debt collection letters, debt collection attorneys, debt collection companies, representatives, whoever, with the debt collection companies who are trying to reach out about the debt, they get away with it. So whenever you receive a debt collection letter from an attorney, you receive a debt collection letter from a debt collection company, you need to review it and you need to make sure that they followed all of the steps. If it's not from a debt collection attorney, and what I mean by that, let me define what I mean by that. In situations where the debt collection is from an attorney who is representing the original creditor, the attorney has to do the reach out. They cannot have a representative from the company reach out. You will see at the top, it'll have the debt collection attorney's name on there, the law firm's name on there. They have to do that because they are retained by the original creditor to do this work. If the debt collection is coming from a debt collection company who has purchased the debt, it's going to be totally different. But for the purposes of this video, we are talking about a debt collection that is coming from the original creditor through a debt collection law firm where the attorney has signed off on it. So the letter that is submitted to the individual has the attorney's signature on there. That means that they are saying that they've reviewed the entire entire collection, the documents from the entire collection. So what we found out in this specific situation was that the debt collection attorney, when challenged, and this was involving a repossession of a vehicle, but this would also go with any debt that a debt collection attorney is trying to collect. So don't turn off the video. Don't go away because you may not be, your situation may not have to do with a repossession. The way that you challenge this remains the same. So specifically with this issue here, with an attorney who is collecting the debt for the original creditor, the debt collection attorney, number one, did not review the documents that this specific client had on hand, that they did a voluntary surrender. Now, when they did the voluntary surrender, and I talked to the client about this, I said, you know, he thought that once he surrendered it, they made him feel as if he was not going to owe any money on the vehicle that was being turned in. And I said that the reason why they did that is because, number one, they don't want to make it a hostile situation. They don't want to say, well, you know, just imagine this. You're going in there, you're turning in the vehicle, and you owe a certain amount of money still on the vehicle. And they tell you, and they come back and say, well, you know, you're going to owe, you know, let's just say like this amount, $35,620.86, that they would turn around and say, yes, thank you, sir, for bringing in the keys, turning in the vehicle, and oh yeah, we're going to send you a bill for $35,000 and some change. That could turn into a hostile situation because the individual is like, hey, I'm giving you the vehicle. And why would I owe that amount? Well, you owe that amount because that's what's going to be a deficiency balance, potential deficiency balance. But they don't want to get into that situation with the individual. They want you to get the vehicle back, no harm to the vehicle, get out of their dealership, let the attorneys and the legal process start after that. So, one of the things that I found out during my research was that the company, the lender, did not follow the guidelines according to the laws in the state that this gentleman came from. Whenever, and this remains the same for all states, whenever you either turn in a vehicle or vehicle is repossessed, they're going to have to tell you what they did with that vehicle. Did they resell it? Did they just outright resell it? Because if they outright resold it, what did they resell it for? Because a lot of people don't know this, that would cover. They can only come after you for the deficiency balance. What most creditors do is they'll go and sell that vehicle at auction, and then they'll come and try to collect on that deficiency balance. Some companies, and you will see this with credit unions, they repo vehicles and then they put them right back out, and you'll see them displayed right out there in front of the credit union. And they're reselling those vehicles. When they resell those vehicles, they have to take that money against the deficiency balance. But most people don't know that. Most people don't know that because that is your right. So when I was doing the research, I found out that they didn't even give any statement on how they came up with that deficiency balance. And in the response to the debt collection attorney's law firm, I stated that in the letter that they did not follow the code according to the laws in that state. And I also stated that the original creditor is supposed to give that notice to the consumer, that they are required to do it. And by them solely not following that process, plus some other circumstances that I won't get into with this individual, they ended up canceling out the debt for $35,620.86. So to sum it up, when you are dealing with a debt collection attorney directly, when you review that debt collection letter from them directly, this is where the attorney signs off saying that they did follow the process, because it is too late for them. This is the thing. This is the thing. Bottom line. If the debt collection attorney sends that notification and they're stating that they reviewed all of the information, and then they send that out saying that you owe this debt, and they did not follow the processes that the law puts into place for them or the original creditor to follow, once they send that out, they are in violation. Once they send that out, they are in violation. That goes for if it's a repossession and they're talking about a deficiency balance, or a debt collection that they're trying to collect for the original creditor. Flat out, they are in violation once they do that. That's why it's very important, when I've always talked about this, when you send that debt validation letter out, when dealing with any debt collection company, and you get that attorney to put themselves on notice saying that they've reviewed it. Once they review it and they come back and they say, we're going to still come after you for it, and you know the violations, that they have committed, you got them. They're going to cancel out the debt, because they're going to go back to their client, or if they purchased the debt, they're going to just flat out say, we have to cancel this debt because the violations that we have could put our company in jeopardy of losing our license to be able to collect debt in that state. Or it could make a class action. You never know. But the important point is that they are in violation. And the way to do that is you look at the documentation for your specific situation. And then you work backwards and you say, okay, if it's an attorney who is collecting for the original creditor, did they give all of the documentation? Did they do everything that they were supposed to do? Some of it is with documents. Some of it is with the process. And the only way you're going to know the process is to do the research for your specific situation that you're facing. And that carries over for a debt collection that is being collected by for a debt collector for the original creditor, and that goes for a debt collection that is being collected by a debt collector who has purchased your debt. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. That's the way that we repair credit and increase scores. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com to grab your TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian credit reports and all 3 scores. If you have debt collectors coming after you early in the game, grab my 3-pack of letters: statute of limitations letter, debt validation letter, and cease and desist collection activities letter. Use the one that's appropriate for your specific situation. If you have debt collectors who are suing you in court, links are below this video. If you need a consultation on what you could potentially do with the debt collection attorney that is coming after you for debt from the original creditor, go to my website, click on live chat, tell me your situation, and we'll let you know your options on that. Thank you for your time. Please post your questions and comments, like this video, subscribe to the channel. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and Founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.